My child, pause for a moment and stay here with me. Yes, you. I am speaking to you right now, and this moment is not sluchiness nor something meaningless that simply appeared in front of you. In the middle of all the noise, all the scrolling, all the thoughts you keep trying to outrun, I have come close to you. This is more than another voice passing through your day. My presence is near, and even in the stillness around you, heaven is leaning close. I know how tired you have become. I saw the nights you stared at the ceiling because your mind would not rest, and the moments you smiled around people only to sit alone afterward carrying the weight in silence. I heard the prayers you never finished because you were too exhausted to explain the pain anymore. Even the tears you wiped away quickly so no one would ask questions were seen by me. You were never abandoned inside those quiet battles. A healing has already been released for you, and it is moving even now through every word reaching your heart. This is not only a promise for some distant future. My love is present with you in this very moment, closer than your next breath. You may not understand everything happening inside you yet, and maybe part of you is still afraid to hope again after waiting so long. I understand that too, and I am still here. I am the peace that reaches places human strength cannot touch. Where medicine has struggled, where people fail to understand you, where time alone could not fully restore your heart, I remain beside you. My words carry life, and they are settling gently into the tired places within you. Some healing comes suddenly, but some arrives quietly, like morning light slowly filling a dark room. Even now, something inside you is beginning to breathe again. You may feel it as a calm you cannot explain, or a heaviness loosening in your chest after carrying it for so long. Maybe your breathing has softened a little, or your thoughts are not racing the way they were before. That is not your imagination. I am touching the places you believed would always hurt. Do not pull away from this moment just because part of you fears disappointment again. For a long time you carried pain beneath your laughter and exhaustion beneath your daily routine. You kept going when nobody realized how close you were to breaking, and you learned how to survive while feeling empty inside. I watched every step of it. I stayed with you in the silence too, not only in the moments when you prayed clearly, but also in the moments when you had no words left at all. Listen closely now. The space around you may seem ordinary, but heaven is aware of this moment. The angels who stand near you have seen every tear and every silent ache you tried to hide from the world. When your heart hurt, heaven heard it. When loneliness wrapped around you, my presence never left the room. You are far more precious to me than you realize. I am still the same God who speaks peace into storms and light into darkness. My strength has not faded, and my love for you has not weakened with time. Even when you believed I had gone silent, I was speaking through every small mercy that kept you alive. I was there in the mornings you somehow got out of bed, and in the nights you whispered my name while wondering if I still heard you. I heard every word. So do not brush past this moment too quickly. Do not tell yourself you will come back to this later after life calms down. The opening before you now is sacred, and moments like this are easy to miss when the heart keeps postponing hope. Reach toward me. My hand is already extended toward you, and the healing you have longed for is flowing through my love even now. I see the sickness that has drained your strength. I see the sadness that made joy feel distant, and the guilt that kept whispering that you were too broken to be fully loved. Those voices will not have the final word over your life. The healing you need is not far away, waiting in some unreachable place. It is here with me, surrounding you even now, steady and alive. Even now you have tried so many ways to quiet the pain inside you. You looked for relief in people, in distractions, in staying busy, in pretending you were stronger than you felt. Maybe you kept telling yourself that if you just made it through one more week, one more conversation, one more sleepless night, things would finally change. But the deepest part of your hurt could not be reached by temporary comfort, because what your soul has been searching for can only be found in me. I am the one who restores what life has worn down and pulled apart. I am reaching toward you now, not to place more weight on your shoulders, but to finally lift some of it from you. Shame has whispered for too long that you are too damaged, too distant, or too late to be loved fully. But listen carefully to me now. I already carried the cost of your healing, your peace, and your freedom. My love has already crossed every mile between us, and even the smallest opening in your heart is enough for me to enter. And maybe part of you still hesitates because disappointment has visited you before. Maybe you prayed in the past and wondered why the silence lasted so long afterward. I saw those moments too. I was there beside you when you sat awake at night replaying conversations in your head, trying not to cry because you were tired of feeling weak. I never stepped away from you, not even then. So reach for me now, even if your faith feels fragile. You may not see my hand with your eyes, but your spirit knows the feeling of my presence. The same hand that reached for Peter when he began sinking beneath the waves is reaching toward you now, while you stand in the middle of your own storm. Do not let fear become louder than my voice. Keep your heart turned toward me for a moment longer. As you do, you will begin to notice something changing within you, maybe slowly, maybe gently. The pressure in your chest may begin to ease, your breathing may soften, and the heaviness you carried for so long may not feel quite as crushing. Some healing arrives quietly before it ever becomes visible, like dawn slowly entering a dark room after a long night. This gift is being offered to you personally. I am speaking directly to the tired parts of you that almost gave up hope, to the hidden wounds you learned to carry in silence, to the version of you that kept functioning while secretly falling apart inside. You have endured enough for too long. The season of constant survival is beginning to loosen its grip on your life. Do not rush past this moment because your mind tells you to wait until you feel more ready. There are moments when mercy arrives softly and asks only for openness. Right now, my presence is close to you, moving gently through the places fear once controlled. The peace beginning to settle inside you is not empty emotion. It is my love finding its way into the parts of your heart that have been exhausted from fighting alone. Even now, chains are beginning to loosen. Fear is losing some of the power it held over your thoughts, and despair is no longer speaking as loudly as it once did. The memories that kept reopening old wounds are starting to lose their grip little by little. You are not imagining this shift within you. Something sacred is unfolding, even if it feels quiet at first. So do not tell yourself that another time would be better. There is something holy about this moment exactly as it is. The door of mercy is open now, and healing is already flowing like a river through every word reaching your spirit. Reach toward me with honesty, even if all you have left is a tired whisper of faith. I have watched you carry burdens you were never meant to hold by yourself. I saw the mornings when getting out of bed felt heavier than anyone realized, and the nights when you kept scrolling your phone because silence made the loneliness feel louder. You are not forgotten. I have carried you through moments when you thought you had no strength left, and I am still carrying you now. Enough fear, enough believing that pain will define the rest of your life. My presence is moving around you even now like warmth settling over cold skin after a long winter. You may feel tears coming unexpectedly, or a stillness resting over your thoughts after so much noise. Do not be afraid of that softness. That is me meeting you in the middle of your exhaustion. I am still the same Savior who touched blind eyes and restored sight, who lifted the broken and called life back into places that seemed lost forever. I have not changed. And I am with you now just as surely as I was with those who reached for me long ago. Let this moment stay with you a little longer, and allow your heart to rest in the peace that is finding you here. If this message touched your spirit, you can support its mission through Super Thanks. Every act of support helps bring more messages of God's love, peace, and encouragement to people who are quietly carrying burdens of their own. Beloved, I am not asking you to strain or force yourself to become worthy before coming closer to me. I am not waiting for perfect prayers or polished words spoken without fear or doubt. I am simply asking you to open your heart, even if all you have left is honesty and exhaustion. You are already loved more deeply than you realize. So let your shoulders loosen for a moment. Take a breath without trying to carry everything at once, and allow yourself to rest here with me. Reach toward me even quietly, and let my presence meet you where you are. You may not fully understand what you feel right now, but something gentle is already moving through the tired places inside you. This moment is like a window standing open in the middle of a dark room, and grace is pouring through it. Do not rush past it because your mind tells you to wait until you feel stronger or more certain. I am standing beside you now with patience, not disappointment. My love has surrounded you long before you noticed it, and maybe part of you still wonders if healing could really belong to someone like you after everything you have carried. I know those thoughts. I heard them in the nights when you lay awake replaying regrets, and in the mornings when your body felt heavy before the day even began. But listen closely now. This is not the end of your story. Something within you is beginning to awaken to peace again. What has been sent to you from heaven is not far away or delayed for some future season. It has already been poured out through my presence, through my sacrifice, through every word of life that still reaches hearts today. The peace your mind longs for, the strength your spirit aches for, the healing your body quietly cries out for, I have already made room for all of it. You do not have to chase it endlessly. You only need to receive it. This healing reaches far beyond physical pain. It moves into the hidden exhaustion of the soul, into the homes filled with silence after too many disappointments, into the hearts worn down by betrayal and grief. I see the families that barely speak anymore, the people who smile in public but break down in private, and the minds that have forgotten what rest feels like. None of that suffering has gone unseen by me. Every tear has been noticed. Every silent prayer whispered while staring into the dark has reached me. I carried your pain once upon my shoulders, and I still come close to the wounded with the same compassion now. The hands that touched lepers, the voice that called Lazarus from the grave, the mercy that welcomes sinners with tenderness instead of shame. That same love is reaching toward you now. The healing I offer is not merely an answer to one problem. I am the healing your soul has been searching for beneath all the noise and striving. My love reaches the wounds people could not understand, and my forgiveness washes through places still carrying regret from years ago. My peace settles into anxious thoughts like rain falling onto dry ground after a long season without relief. When I gave my life, it carried more than forgiveness alone. It carried restoration, renewal, and the power to breathe life back into what felt beyond repair. That power still moves today, quietly and steadily, through hearts willing to trust me again. Sometimes healing begins dramatically, but often it begins softly, like warmth returning to numb hands little by little. The cross was never the ending of a story. It became a river of mercy that still flows toward every broken place within you. It reaches the memories that still sting when you think about them, the dreams you buried because disappointment hurt too much, and the parts of yourself you stopped believing could ever feel whole again. Nothing is too far gone for my love to touch. So do not wait for another sign before opening your heart. Do not keep delaying hope because fear has convinced you to expect disappointment. You have asked me when healing would come, when peace would finally return, and I am telling you now that it has already begun moving toward you. The moment your heart turns toward me, even with trembling faith, something inside begins to change. Heaven does not respond to performance or loudness. It responds to trust. Even the quietest whisper of faith, even the smallest reaching of your heart toward me, is enough for my presence to move. There are many people who ask for healing while quietly keeping the deepest parts of themselves hidden away. They pray for peace, yet hold tightly to the fears that have become familiar to them. They ask for freedom, but still carry shame as though it belongs to them forever. Sometimes people long for healing while protecting the very wound that needs to be touched most. But you have stayed here long enough to listen. Even with your questions, even with the weariness you carry, something in your heart has opened. And because of that openness, my presence is already moving gently around you. The atmosphere within you is beginning to change in ways you may not fully understand yet. You may have expected healing to arrive all at once, dramatic and undeniable, something everyone around you could immediately see. But often the way I restore a soul is much quieter than that. It begins when the heaviness in your chest slowly loosens, when your mind becomes a little less crowded, when the tears that once came from despair begin to fall with relief instead. Sometimes healing begins the moment hope quietly returns after being gone for so long. You start breathing a little easier without realizing it at first. Sleep comes more gently after nights spent staring into the dark with restless thoughts. A smile appears on your face for no clear reason except that something inside you no longer feels completely lost. That is how my healing often moves, slowly, softly, but deeply. Listen carefully now. You do not have to earn this. You do not need perfect prayers, perfect faith, or perfect strength before coming closer to me. Healing does not come through exhausting yourself trying to become worthy. It comes through surrender, through trusting me enough to let your guarded heart finally rest. And maybe that is difficult for you because life taught you to survive by staying guarded. Maybe disappointment made you afraid to hope too much again. I understand that. But when you begin releasing the thought that healing belongs to everyone except you, something inside starts opening like dry ground receiving rain after a long season without water. Let my words settle gently into the places pain is cracked open inside you. Let them reach the memories you still avoid because they hurt too much when they return unexpectedly. My love reaches farther than time can heal on its own. I can restore the places people never understood, the wounds hidden behind your silence, and the parts of yourself you thought were gone forever. The healing of heaven is rooted in love. Its voice sounds like forgiveness after years of self-blame. Its strength feels like mercy meeting you in the middle of weakness instead of condemning you for it. And when that love begins settling into your heart, bitterness slowly loses its place to stay. Fear becomes quieter when my peace fills your thoughts. Guilt loses its power when my mercy covers the places you still judge harshly within yourself. This is not empty imagination or emotional hype. This is transformation unfolding quietly within the soul. I am speaking gently because your heart has been fighting for so long. You tried to fix yourself through effort, through distractions, through trying to appear okay in front of everyone else. Maybe you kept saying, "I'm fine," because you were tired of explaining pain people could not fully understand. But real healing begins when you stop carrying yourself alone and finally allow me to hold what has been crushing you. So come close exactly as you are. Bring the confusion, the weakness, the regret, the exhaustion you hide behind your daily routine. You do not have to clean yourself up before reaching toward me. My arms are already open, and my presence is already moving toward every hurting place within you. This healing is not delayed for some distant future version of your life. It begins now, in this very moment, through trust. Even now, as these words settle over your spirit, something inside you is softening. The calm you feel, the lightness beginning to return, the quiet peace slowly resting over your thoughts. These are signs that my presence is near. If His touch has transformed your life, type, "You are my healer and redeemer." And when doubt tries to whisper that nothing is changing, do not let fear speak louder than faith. My power often moves quietly before the eyes can fully see what has already begun. Every prayer you whispered through tears, every lonely night you endured, every moment you kept going when you wanted to give up has prepared your heart for this. What you have been longing for is no longer far away. The peace you searched for, the comfort your soul has been aching for, the touch your heart desperately needed, it is here now. My spirit has already drawn near to you. All you need to do is breathe deeply, open your heart, and whisper softly, "I receive it." And when you finally allow yourself to receive my love, something inside you will begin to soften. Maybe it will feel like warmth slowly spreading through places that have carried exhaustion for far too long. Maybe it will feel like your thoughts becoming quieter after weeks of overthinking every fear and disappointment. Or maybe it will simply feel like breathing a little easier again, without having to force yourself through the day. That is my presence drawing close to you. Healing often begins more quietly than people expect. It is not always sudden or dramatic. Sometimes it starts in the middle of an ordinary night when your heart no longer feels quite as heavy as it did before. Sometimes it begins when the tears you held back for so long finally fall freely, and for the first time they feel releasing instead of hopeless. Grace moves gently, but it moves deeply. You are already changing more than you realize. Even if your circumstances have not fully changed yet, something within you has begun to open again. Doors that once felt locked by fear, exhaustion, or disappointment are slowly loosening. Hope is returning in small ways, and that matters more than you know. And I need you to hear this clearly. You have always been deeply loved. I saw every moment you believed nobody truly understood what you were carrying inside. I saw the days you laughed with people while quietly feeling empty, and the nights when silence felt unbearable because your thoughts became too loud once everything slowed down. I saw the moments you kept moving through life simply because stopping felt dangerous. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. I saw the nights you stayed awake scrolling through your phone because sitting alone with your emotions felt too overwhelming. I heard every quiet whisper of, "God, are you even there?" even when you thought your prayers disappeared into silence. Not one of those moments was unseen by me. When your heart broke in ways you could not explain to anyone else, I remained beside you. When rejection made you question your worth, when loneliness convinced you that nobody would stay, when guilt whispered that you were too damaged to deserve peace, I never agreed with those lies. They were never the truth about you. You have never been forgotten. Every hidden scar within you is known to me with tenderness, not judgment. I know the exhaustion that settled into your body after carrying emotional pain for too long. I know how anxiety grows louder late at night when everything becomes quiet. I know how tiring it is to keep pretending you are okay because you no longer know how to explain what hurts. But listen carefully now. You are not beyond healing. You are not too broken for restoration, and you are not too far away for my love to reach. The shattered places within you are not proof that your story is over. They are places where light is beginning to enter again. Every tear you cried in secret carried meaning. Every lonely night, every trembling prayer, every moment you thought nobody noticed your pain mattered more than you realized. Healing is not me ignoring your wounds. It is my love entering them gently and refusing to abandon you there. And I have never been ashamed of your struggle. I saw how hard you fought just to keep going when everything inside you wanted to give up. Even your smallest act of endurance mattered. Even when your faith felt weak, it was still reaching toward me. So when I look at you, I do not see failure. I see someone who survived nights that almost broke them and still kept waking up each morning. I do not see weakness in your scars. I see evidence that grace carried you farther than your own strength could have carried you alone. You do not need to hide any part of yourself from me anymore. Bring me the memories you avoid thinking about when the room grows quiet. Bring me the disappointment, the confusion, the anger and the pain you keep disguising behind, "I'm fine." I am not turning away from any of it. Even now I am close to your broken heart. Some healing happens all at once, but much of it unfolds slowly and tenderly, piece by piece. You may notice your chest no longer feels as tight all the time. You may find yourself sleeping a little deeper or feeling moments of calm you cannot explain. That is my presence touching the places inside you that have waited a long time to feel safe again. I saw the nights you cried quietly so nobody would hear you. I saw the moments when exhaustion emptied you so completely that even prayer felt difficult. I saw the way you smiled in public while falling apart privately afterward. And through every one of those moments I stayed. You were never abandoned, beloved, not once. The pain that has followed you for so long will not define your life forever. Little by little, the wounds that once made you feel hopeless are becoming reminders that you survived and were carried through more than you thought possible. The heaviness you feel now will not remain forever. Joy will return again, sometimes softly at first, like sunlight slowly entering a room after a storm. And one day you will realize that even in your darkest moments, heaven never stopped holding you. So reach toward me now. My hand is still extended toward you with the same love that calmed storms, lifted the weary, and healed the broken long ago. This is not only a story from the past. I am still near to you now. Touch my hand and receive the healing that has been reaching toward you all along. And when you look at the scars upon my hands, do not see defeat. See love that stayed with you through every sorrow and never once let you go. Look at these scars again, slowly this time. They are more than reminders of suffering. They tell the story of how far love was willing to go to bring you back to life. The nails that pierced my hands did not take away my power. They revealed it in its deepest form. What once appeared to be defeat became the very place where healing began to flow outward toward every wounded heart, including yours. And I know there are days when all you can see in your own life are the broken places, the memories you wish you could erase, the exhaustion that sits quietly inside your chest, the moments you replay late at night while staring into the dark, wondering if you will ever feel whole again. But I want you to look differently now. I want you to see my hand reaching gently into every shattered part of your story without shame, without disappointment, and without turning away. I am not afraid of your wounds. I am not overwhelmed by your grief, your confusion, or the heaviness you have carried for so long. I see the version of you that kept telling everyone, "I'm okay," because explaining the pain felt too exhausting. I saw the nights you kept scrolling through your phone just to avoid sitting alone with your thoughts. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly before anyone noticed. And through all of it, I stayed beside you. My hand is still gathering every scattered piece of your heart carefully and patiently. I am not rushing your healing. Some wounds soften slowly, some pain leaves quietly, little by little, like darkness fading when morning finally begins to enter the room. Healing is already happening beneath the surface, even in ways you cannot fully see yet. When my presence touches your life, fear begins losing the control it once held over you. Thoughts that used to torment you day and night begin growing quieter. The hopelessness that convinced you nothing would ever change slowly starts loosening its grip. You may notice yourself breathing more deeply again, sleeping a little more peacefully, or feeling moments of calm you cannot fully explain. That is not meaningless emotion. That is restoration beginning within you. And listen carefully to me now. Your faith does not need to sound impressive to be real. You do not need perfect prayers or complete certainty before reaching toward me. Even a trembling whisper of hope after years of disappointment is enough. Even a tired, "Jesus, help me," spoken through tears reaches my heart immediately. Remember the woman who touched the edge of my garment through the crowd. She did not have loud faith. She did not stand before everyone trying to prove herself worthy. She simply reached because somewhere inside her pain, she still believed healing might be possible. That quiet reaching connected her to my love, and everything began changing from there. So reach toward me now in the same way. Even if your faith feels fragile, even if part of you is still afraid of being disappointed again. I understand that fear more than you know. But the simple movement of your heart toward me is already enough for my grace to meet you there. You are not reaching into emptiness. Before your hand even fully extends, mine is already closing around yours. My presence is closer than your anxious thoughts, closer than the ache you carry silently every day. The same hand that formed galaxies now rests gently over the tired places within your spirit. And from these scars, light still flows. It reaches the hidden places inside you that life wounded over time. The rejection you never fully healed from. The heartbreak you tried to bury beneath busyness. The shame that whispered you were too damaged to deserve peace. My love is entering those places now, softly and patiently, restoring what pain tried to convince you was beyond repair. Healing does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it begins quietly, in the way your chest feels a little lighter tonight. Sometimes it begins when your thoughts stop racing long enough for peace to finally settle in. Sometimes it begins when you realize you no longer have to carry every burden alone. So hold on to my hand when fear returns. There will still be moments when doubt whispers old lies into your mind. But remember this, I am not temporary comfort. I am truth that remains. My presence will stay with you beyond this moment, beyond tonight, beyond every season that once convinced you healing would never come. And when the screen grows quiet and these words fade into silence, remember that you were never abandoned in your suffering. You were seen, held, and deeply loved through all of it. If His power has opened paths no one else could open in your life, say, "You open paths no one can close." And share this message with someone who needs hope tonight.